Hello, welcome everybody back to the 80slashers.com YouTube channel. In today's video, as I'm sure you've already seen by the title of the video, I am going to be doing my top 10 80s slashers. Yeah, this is a video that I've been wanting to make for a while, but there's some issues that I'll talk about in a second here, why I haven't done that yet. But yeah, this is a video, I actually got a request to make this video from my good friend Jason over at the New 80s Revolution YouTube channel. Now, everyone watching this video who is subscribed has probably come from that channel. You're probably watching my channel because of Jason and his very generous review of this channel, and sent a lot of his viewers this way. So yeah, you know what that's all about. But if there does happen to be the odd person watching this video who is not familiar with the New 80s Revolution channel, I definitely implore you to go and check it out. I will leave a link to his channel below. But basically, if you're a fan of anything 80s, that is the channel to go check out. He enjoys 80s slasher films, regular 80s horror movies, 80s wrestling, 80s toys, 80s action figures, 80s comic books, 80s magazines, 80s TV shows, 80s dolls, anything you can imagine that you're curious about the 80s, you will find on the New 80s Revolution channel. Guaranteed. So yeah, so if you're looking for anything new after you watch this video, and if you're not familiar with his channel, definitely go on over, click the link below, and just browse his channel. Like I said, you can find anything. If you want to see something about Karate Kid action figures, guess what? He has it. Chuck Norris, more your bag? Yep. Chuck Norris action figures collection, he has it. So go check it out. Yeah, it's fantastic. But anyway, his request, he asked me to do my top 10 80 slashers. And the little caveat he put at the end was nothing mainstream, which you can't get much more mainstream in the 80s slasher genre than these films. So why are these on here? Well, the issue that I haven't made it is because these 4 films are in my top 10. And that's pretty heavily loaded. I love these films. I love this franchise. And in my official 80s slasher ranking list, these 4 films are in the top 10. So basically, if I was to make my actual top 10 list, I would have basically 6 other films plus these. And I didn't really want to make that video because I had already done a video, you can link below, of ranking this entire franchise, the Paramount films. So I didn't want to repeat the same things I've said about this. In another video, my whole collection, I talk about these as well. So I wasn't really sure. So when Jason suggested, hey, do a top 10 with nothing mainstream in it, it gave me idea. Well, maybe what I'll do is I'll omit these 4 films, and I'll show my top 10, not including this franchise. And yeah, I thought, yeah, that's perfect. That'll work really well. So that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna take these. I'm gonna move them over here, and I'll bring in my top 10. I just wanted to make a note because I love these films so much. It feels like I'm cheating on them or something. I just didn't want these films to be forgotten. Know that these are part of my top 10. And you know, I've said it on a few videos before. I've said it on the website. The original Friday the 13th is my favorite 80s slasher of all time. So when I get to the number 1 on this list, just remember, just know this is the one. This is my favorite film. But again, I'm going to try to not reference these again, just to kind of take away. from the other films, but I just wanted to make a note, just so we're clear. Um, these are, these are there as well. But okay, that's enough. So that's enough. So Friday the 13th, I will put them aside and we'll get in um, to the top 10. So, coming in at number 10 on this list, from 1982, is Pieces. Yeah, Pieces. This is a fun film. Very interesting film because it's kind of a mix of a few different genres. Um, First off, this is a like a co-production between the United States and Spain. So it has a different feel, where it feels like an 80s slasher at times, but it also feels like a European giallo slasher film. And because of that, it's kind of cool. I really enjoy it. There's, like I said, there's regular elements that you find in most 80s slashers. Um, but it has that Italian, Spanish, just the European sleazy feeling to it. So in that sense, it's the most unique film on this list in that regard, because it's different. But it's really fun. The big thing with this film is the gore. Oh, I don't. I'm taking a quick look at the list here. This is, well, there might be one other one. Now, this is the film that has the most over the top gore of any of these films. Um, it's ridiculous. As you can see, the killer, for the most part, I believe almost every kill, he utilizes a chainsaw. Um, quick story for what this is. Basically, um, a killer is on the loose. There's a whole backstory with a child and a mother, and it's at the very beginning. I won't get into it, but there's a whole setup with like a child mother, and the killer in this film, basically what they're doing is they're hunting and stalking women, and they the killer takes pieces of their body to construct their own woman mannequin made of real people parts. Really twisted. But as a kill happens, the bodies are found horribly mutilated due to a chainsaw, and there's always like a piece missing. Like, oh, this chick is missing her left arm. Oh, the next victim's missing the legs and the torso. It's just, and the killer is collecting body parts and like making their own human mannequin. Really weird, really twisted, but man, the blood and the guts and the gore, it's just, if you're into that, this movie is just so much fun. It has a really, like, a bunch of random weird moments in this film that just stand out. There's one I'll just point to. It's not a spoiler. It just a random moment. There's like a kung fu moment in this film. Um, just out of nowhere, like a Bruce Lee lookalike guy jumped out of the shadow, does some fancy kung fu kicks, and and that's it. He leaves, and he's, it's written off as like, oh, that's a student of mine, and that's how they explain it. It's just so weird, so out of place, and it's so fun. It's almost as if the director made a bet with a friend and said like, hey, I bet you can't put a random kung fu scene in a slasher film. He's like, oh yeah, I'll show you, and he went and he did it. And that's what it feels like. It's just like, it's so weird, and there's just a whole bunch of little stuff like that. This is a lot of fun. Yeah, like, there's like a warning on here. Due to its shocking and violent subject matter, no one under 17 should view this film. So, if you're under 17, this may not be for you. But if you're 18 or above, I definitely recommend it. Um, yeah, it's like it's exactly what you think it is. Yeah, it's just a gore fest. It's just blood, blood, blood. So fun. So yeah, number 10 from 1982 pieces. Highly recommend. Highly recommend checking this one out. It's a good one. All right, number 9 from 1981. Maniac. Now this one's a weird. I say 81. There's some release dates that say 80. I think it was like a smaller releases, but I always claim this is 81 because I think it got its nationwide wide release in 81. I think there was like some smaller, like New York City, since this is where this is based. Anyway, yeah, 1981 Maniac. Okay, if you haven't seen this film, this is a wild one. This again, it's set in New York City, and it the best thing about this film to me is it captures the old, sleazy, dirty New York City of the early 80s. It's just, there's not many films like the films like Death Wish does it really well. There's a couple other films like that. But this one, oh boy, it's just of the killer, scenes of the killer just walking down the street, in just downtown, the dirty districts of just like the prostitutes and just, oh man, they do such a good job of capturing that part of the city at that time. It's like a time machine. It's fantastic. I love that about this film. Um, there's a scene in the subway system, and he's like, and the killer is like, it's no surprise who the killer is, um, and he's stalking. He's stalking. I think she's a nurse. Like probably going home from work. It seems like it's like 1, 2, 3 in the morning. She's getting on a subway, and he's just stalking her through the subway train, and it ends up in like a bathroom. It's just, I remember watching it as a kid, and man, it freaked me out. And even today, watching this, it's just so like sleazy is the word I keep coming back to. It just has that sleazy vibe. Um, yeah, it's fantastic. Um, this film's very violent. The It's very mean spirited. Sometimes these slasher films, the kills are, they're kind of silly, they're funny. There's no funniness to this film. This is like a very mean spirited, nasty type of film. The killer is just brutal, very misogynistic. You could say, just like the stuff he does to the women. It's just, hmm, it's sleazy. That's the best word. It's just so sleazy. Um, and it's really, it's not your typical 80s slasher in that it's follows the regular formula that we're all used to seeing. This is more of, even though it is an 80s slasher, it's more of a exploration of mental illness, I guess you could say, because you really get to see what's going on in his head. There's a lot of POV shots. Yeah, so it's a weird balance of, yeah, mental illness and an 80s slasher. But it's mixed together really well. Yeah, it's a fun one. Like in this cover art, I just love this cover art. And I'll tell you, this film has a remake. Oh, what year is it? 2000. I'm not gonna get it right. I want to say 2006, 2009. It's anyway, and it stars Elijah Wood, Little Frodo from the Lord of the Rings movies, and I'm telling you, the remake of this, I may like it better. Like, it's not an 80s slasher, but man, the remake of this is so good, and it's the same thing. It's a balance between slasher and mental illness, but it's if you like the brutality, like just kills that are just, they're just terrible. They're just brutal, like, and they feel really realistic. That's what this does. The kills feel realistic. They just feel like you feel like you're watching a serial killer killing people. So if that makes you uncomfortable, maybe, this isn't for you. But yeah, that's the appeal of this film to me. So, Again, maybe 17 and under, maybe not so much, but um, and another thing I need to mention about this film is the practical effects were done by Tom Savini. So if you're not familiar with Tom Savini, he's by far the known as the greatest special effect artist, practical effect artist in these films. He did the first Friday the 13th. He did the final chapter. He did this, and he did two more that are on this list. So we'll get to them. But yeah, his practical effects. He just has a way of making them feel a lot more real than they probably should feel. Especially in this film, he's never done more of a gritty feeling than he did in this film. And he actually gets to kill himself in this film. There's a scene where he's acting, Tom Savini is acting, and he gets to kill himself, and it's one of the most memorable kills. I won't get into it, but it's an infamous kill, and it's fantastic. So yeah, Maniac, check it out. 1980, 1981. I'm gonna say 81. Yeah, this is a good one. All right, number 8. This is one that everybody has definitely heard of. From 1981 as well. We have Halloween 2. Yeah, what can I say about this film that people don't already know? Yeah, Michael Myers. This is the follow-up, obviously, to the 1978 John Carpenter masterpiece, Halloween. If you're not familiar, basically this is what I love about this movie is it literally picks up where the first movie ends, like almost scene for scene. Like so, if you spliced this and the first one together, where that one ends, and the first scene in this, it just continually goes. It's super. It's really cool. So it just feels like an extension, like a literal sequel, like just a big extension from the first film. And instead of the first movie where it took place in the whole neighborhood of Michael stalking all his victims, the majority of this film takes place in a hospital, which is fantastic. Um, the hospital in this film is empty, which is weird. I don't know why it's empty, especially after the night before, or that same night, Michael Myers had just killed, like, who knows how many kids, teenagers. But the hospital in the town is empty. There's like one or a couple nurses, couple doctors, and that's it. And the whole movie, Michael is basically stalking Laurie Strode, played by Jamie Lee Curtis, and yeah, it's just really well done. The atmosphere of the hospital, like the long corridor hallways, the squeaky doors, the lighting, like sometimes the fluorescent lights like flicker. The mood to this film is fantastic. Really like this film. There's a couple fantastic kills in this. There's a hot tub one near the beginning. There's a nurse in a hot tub. Oh, it's so great. I won't get into it more than that. It's not a spoiler. It's like it's near the beginning of the film. But yeah, I just really like this one. This is without a doubt the best. Um, this is without a doubt the best Halloween film from the '80s, bar none. Not even close. You know, is this as good as the first Halloween? No, no. The first Halloween film is fantastic. Um, but this is next best. This is my second favorite in the franchise, for sure. This is just a really really well done movie. So yeah, there's not much more I can say. I'm sure everyone has seen this at one point. So yeah, go check it out. If you haven't seen it in a while, go back and revisit. Yeah, you can see like some of like the lighting, just the shadows and like the shadows, the light. It just does a really good job. Um, yeah, Halloween 2. Love this one. All right. All right, number 7. From 1982, we have The House on Sorority Row. Yeah, this is a really good one. This is a really fun movie. This whole film takes place, for the most part, at a sorority house. There's a group of college students. Basically, the setup is, they have a house mother. I don't know if that still exists or what, in sororities, but in these type of films, there was always like a house mother, an older lady who was, you know, in charge, keeping them in check. And in this film, she was a real, like a real ball breaker kind of thing, no nonsense. So it was the end of the semester, end of the year, and the women, they decide to play a prank on her to get her back for all the crap she's been giving them all semester long. Of course, the prank goes horribly wrong, and somebody ends up dead. Uh, and then, of course, the remainder of the film is them trying to cover up what happened, but at the same time, somebody saw or knew what they did, and these women start dropping off one by one, and that's the plot. That's basically what it is, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. The sorority house is like a big old house, so it's really spooky. Lots of different rooms, different areas that people can get killed in. There's some good '80s music in this one. Yeah, there's a lot of fun. There's a couple really good kills in this one. There's an infamous one with a toilet. I won't say anymore. There's yeah. I think if I flip this over, you're probably gonna see it. No, it's not on here. Okay. But yeah, there's an infamous kill that ends with a toilet scene. I'll leave it at that. It's pretty cool. That was pretty good. And yeah, there's the finale of this film is really creepy. There's I won't, like I said, I don't want to spoil too much, but there's a location in the house that's used at the finale that's super super creepy. Um, yeah, and they utilize it really really well. It really is one of these films that just kind of makes the hair on my arms stand up as I'm watching it. Um, so yeah, House on Sorority Road. Check this one out. If you like the college campus type thing, this is a really fun one. Yeah, so 1982, The House on Sorority Row, number 7. All right, number 6, from 1981, we have The Prowler. This is, well, first off, this is another one of the films that I mentioned earlier that has the special practical effects done by Tom Savini. And that, to me, is probably the highlight in this film. The special effects are just really well done. They're brutal. Yeah, some of the kills in this is just fantastic. This is, let me see, like this film, the story revolving this film takes place, I want to say, in the, it's the end of a war. I, I, I can't remember if it's the Second World War or the Korean War, but basically the setup is a guy goes away to war, comes back, and when he comes back, he finds out that his lady has moved on and is shacking up with another guy, and he sees them at like a holiday dance. Her name is Rosemary, because another version of this film is called Rosemary's Killer, I believe. It's in Europe, perhaps. Anyway, so he kills Rosemary and her new lover, and due to that, it's kind of one of those things where they're like, oh, we can't have this dance anymore, because if we have this dance every year, this killer's gonna come back and is gonna kill us. So, of course, flash forward to the '80s, and a group of people say, it's time, we're gonna have the dance again. And that's a big mistake, so they start to have this dance, this holiday dance. I can't remember what the holiday is. And of course, the killer comes back and starts killing all these women, all these people. And yeah, it's really well done. The killer, as you can see here, has like this military fatigue outfit. It's really, really creepy. People complain about this film that it's slow. It's a slow going film. Um, I don't know. I don't have an issue with that. It's fun. Yeah, maybe there's character development. People don't like that. I'm good with character development. I like that. It makes the ending a little more impactful if you get to know the characters. So when they die, it means more. That's the way I look at it. But yeah, this is a really fun one. Tom Savini himself said that he feels that this is his best work in terms of the 80s slashers. So instead of Maniac and Friday the 13th Part 1 and 4 and another one on this list coming up, he said this is he feels the proudest of the special effects in this. And I totally see it. This scene here, you can kind of see it's in a pool. This is inside a swimming pool scene, and it's brutal. It's terrifying. It's really, really well done. And there's a bunch of kills in this that are just the special effect kills are just fantastic. So yeah, the Prowler. Definitely check this one out. It's a really good one. Yeah. All right. So that was number 6 from 1981, the Prowler. All right, number 5 from 1983, Sleepaway Camp. Now this is a film I've talked about on this channel before. I reviewed it on the YouTube channel. I have a review up on the website about this film, so I'm not going to get too much into this film. But most people know what this is. It's really fun. The most infamous thing about this is the ending. If you haven't seen it, if you're one of the few people who enjoy slasher films who hasn't seen this, I won't spoil the ending for you here. It's without a doubt probably the most disturbing ending to a film I've seen. And the whole film is disturbing. It's just a shocking film. A lot of weird stuff goes on. It has a unique feel. It doesn't quite feel like the typical 80s slasher, even though it is. It just has it's kind of hard to explain. It's just a weird, off-kilter, disturbing feel to this movie. The whole thing throughout. But I love it. It's great. It's fantastic. So yeah, I have this in at number 5. It's just... yeah, just a really good film. And like I say, if you want to hear more about this, go back on the channel. I'll link below, and I have a full review on this on the channel, and you can go to the website as well. And there's a written piece a little bit more detailed. So yeah, 1983's Sleepaway Camp, number 5. Coming in at number 4 from 1982. Is the Slumber Massacre. Same thing as the last film. I just did a recent review on the YouTube channel. So if you want a little more detail, you can definitely go back. Link is below. You can check out that. But this movie is just so fun. That's the one word to describe it. It's just fun. This movie just has everything you expect and want from an 80s slasher is in this film. It's super short. It's like 80 minutes or something. It's like 82 minutes. It's a really short time. It just flies by. There's fantastic kills. There's a ton of nudity. The atmosphere is really 80s. It just has it just has a real charm to it. I just love this film. This is like almost like Porky's meets a slasher film. It has that feel. Roger Corman, who's like the king of the B movies, he produced this, and it just has his signature all over it with the nudity and the silliness. And this is one of those ones that has no mystery. The killer is revealed, his face, his name, right from the beginning. There's no mystery. It's just pure, a guy's on the loose, a maniac, and he's just going to kill people. And it's just, can they survive? Who will survive? That's it. It's just sheer entertainment for killing purposes. So much fun. Yeah, there's the killer. Like I said, there's no mystery. It shows his face throughout the whole film. Yeah, if you've never seen this one, definitely check it out. This has a couple sequels. They're quite different from this. Um, but yeah, I can't recommend this enough. This is fantastic. I love the Slumber Party Massacre. So yeah, number 4 from 1982. All right. Coming in at number 3 from 1981, we have The Burning. Um, this is a really fun one. Um, as you can see, this is a camp slasher, and there may be no film that's more of a rip-off homage to the original Friday the 13th than this one. This was released almost, I think it's one day off, but almost to the day, 1 year to the day that the original Friday the 13th was released. This was released. So I feel like, I think the first Friday the 13th was May 9th, 1980. This was May 8th, 81. So it's like, yeah, everything about it. It's just the summer camp feel. A past horror incident, and it's all there. But at the same time, it doesn't feel like a Friday the 13th film. It has its own feel. It just kind of stole a lot of the elements in that film. But it's its own film in its own right. This is like the Cropsey, the legend of Cropsey killer kind of thing, and in the, I guess it's in the New York area, or maybe it's just in that whole area of the states, northeast states, the Cropsey killer. But yeah, that's in this. This one's great. Okay, this is the other Tom Savini film. So we had Maniac and we had the Prowler, and this is the third on this list of Tom Savini. So in my actual top 5, counting those 2 Friday the 13th films, Tom Savini is responsible for 5, half of the films on my top 10. Tom Savini does the special effects, so that's saying something. He knows what he's doing. His films just take on a different feel. Yeah, this is a good one. The kills in this are really good. There's a really infamous scene. If you haven't seen it, I won't give too much away, but it's called the raft scene, like a river raft. Yeah, so the raft scene is infamous. So if you haven't seen it, check it out for that. It's fantastic. But yeah, this one's just a good old-fashioned camp slasher, early 80s camp slasher. You got the location of the woods, the cabins, the lake, the beach, the swimming dock. It just feels like that 80s slasher. It's just so good. And you can see the weapon, like these garden shears, and they're used. These garden shears are used, and it's a great weapon from a great killer. The characters in this are really good. You have like the really stereotypical characters. You got like the d-bag counselor, who's kind of a d-bag. You got like the slutty girl, the goody two shoes guy. They got the comic relief, who the comic relief in this film is no other than George Costanza, Jason Alexander himself. I think this may be one of his first roles, Jason Alexander. And you know what? It's hilarious because I'm a huge Seinfeld fan, and watching this, if you ever wondered, like, I wonder what George Costanza was like when he was a teenager in high school, watch The Burning, because it's basically what it is. You're seeing a very young Jason Alexander, full head of hair, still a little stocky, chunky, however you want to call him, but the sense of humor, it's fantastic. Yeah, this film has Jason Alexander. It has a really young Fisher Stevens, who I'm sure you recognize. He's been in a ton of stuff. And it has a young Holly Hunter, who went on to do all kinds of like Oscar type movies, you know. So the cast in this is fantastic. It's got Tom Savini. I guess I should note. I should probably note that this is actually, I believe, the first film from the Weinstein brothers, Miramax. I believe this is like their first film. So 4 or 5 years ago, that would have been something cool to note. Nowadays, yeah, yeah. Well, we won't get into that, but it is what it is. This is, yeah, the Weinstein's one of their first movies, if not their first. So yeah, excellent cast, great kills, some good nudity, fantastic camp setting. there's not much to not like about The Burning. Tom Savini, it's just, yeah, if you haven't seen it, definitely pick it up. It's fantastic. Really good one. So coming in at number 3 from 1981, The Burning. Alright, we're getting there. Now, number 2. Now, if you've paid attention, you'll notice that every film on this list has been from either 1981, 1982, or 1983. Number 2 on my list is from 1989. Yeah, here we go. Intruder. 1989. Just because of that fact, that it's from 1989, this is a wonder to me. Because clearly the peak of the 80s slasher craze was 80, 81, 82, 83. I'll throw in 84 as well. There's no films from 84 on this list, but Friday the 13th, the final chapter is from 84, and there's a few other fantastic films. So, yeah, 80 to 84 is really the highlight for these films, and then they kind of went through a lull. There's a few good films sprinkled in, 85, 86, 87, 88. But this is like almost like the last 80s slasher, one of the last 80s slashers in the entire decade, and I have it as number 2 on my list, on this list. It's on my actual list, I think it's number 3. It's 3 or 4 when you put back in the Friday films. I love this film. Now, there's 2 reasons why this film ranks as high as it does. One, the location. It's in a grocery store. An 80s grocery store, the entire film. See, so you got all the all like the cereal boxes and the chips and the soda aisles, the juice, all that stuff. It's just, oh, it's so good. Just the location is just, oh, I'm a sucker for stuff at malls and shopping malls, department stores, grocery stores. Just like a good location sells a movie, and there's no better location than Intruder. The grocery store is fantastic, and from what I understand, it was like a store that was closing, and they bought a bunch of old spoiled groceries. They loaded up 1 or 2 big rig trucks, brought the groceries, stocked the entire store. It wasn't like an open store, it was like a closed store, and they stocked this entire store for this film, and they filmed it. I just love that. They just did such a good job. So yeah, the location of this store, and of course when you have a slasher set in a grocery store, there's all kinds of things that can be used to kill, because there's a butcher shop that has all these tools and drills and stuff. You have the stock room where you have like conveyor belts, and you have cardboard box compressors. There's so many things that was available to them. Hooks in the freezer. Just so many good things, and they utilize it all. And that's the second thing I love about this film: the kills. When I said earlier that Pieces may be the film with the best gore, and I said, well, this was the film that I was debating with. 2 different types. Pieces is over the top, chainsaw. It's probably the gorier film, but the practical effects in this are just so good. The kills are so creative and unique because they have all those weapons and tools and locations in the store that they use. It's fantastic, but the practical effects is just off the charts. Tom Savini has his fingerprints all over my favorite 80s slashers. He doesn't do this one. This may be the only film that did a better job than Savini. It's almost blasphemous to say that within the 80s slasher community, but I'm telling you, if you haven't seen this film, you gotta see it. You gotta track it down. It's so much fun. The people who made this film is the same small group of filmmakers who were involved in the Evil Dead films. So Sam Raimi, Ted Raimi, Bruce Campbell. that's the group that made this. All three of those guys, Sam and Ted Raimi and Bruce Campbell, are in this film as actors. The director, his name is Scott. What's his name? Scott Spiegel. If you can see that. Yeah. Again. Oh, Lawrence Bender. Lawrence Bender was written and produced by Lawrence Bender, who was involved with Tarantino. He's Tarantino's like Reservoir Dogs producer. Yeah, from the producer Inglourious Bastards and Pulp Fiction. So yeah, the group of filmmakers who made this is so good. I'm disappointed that they didn't really do anything. The Raimi brothers, obviously they went on and they did the Evil Deads and Sam Raimi's career, like the Army of Darkness and all the Spider-Man and all. That wasn't Spider-Man. Yeah. Anyway, um, but yes, Scott Spiegel, for whatever reason, I'm sure he's done some other stuff. I don't know what it is. But this film is just fantastic. It's so much fun. I love this film. I really do. Like I said, number two is from 1989. You can't get much later in the decade than this. And you know what? It has a good mystery to it, like a whodunit. And my first time watching this, I didn't figure it out. So if you're one who likes that, this is another one good for that. Yeah, there's so much to love. I could just keep going, but that's it. Intruder, 1989, number two on this list. Definitely check it out. It's one of the most underrated films. All the other ones I've talked about, most fans of this genre know. They have them in their top 10, top 25. This one, I think, more recently, this is getting more love because of this release. But until before this Blu-ray from Synapse got released, not a lot of people knew about this film, and I was one of them. I never knew this existed, and now I do because of this release, and it just shot up my list. I love it. All right, Intruder, number one on this list from 1981, of course. My Bloody Valentine. I love this film. It's fantastic. If it wasn't for Friday the 13th, this is number two. Just make that clear. Friday the 13th is number one on my list. This is actually number two. Better than all the other sequels. Better than the final chapter. I love this film. The main thing I love about this is just the location and the feel. As you can see, it's about a mining community. It takes place in a mine, and the scenes that are filmed down in the mine, like a coal mine, are just, the mood is just terrifying. It's just so much fun. Yeah, the story of this film basically takes place, again, took a long time ago. There was like a Valentine's Day dance, and a bunch of the miners wanted to go, and so something happened, and because people were leaving to go to the dance, and regulations, procedures at the mine weren't followed, and there was an accident, a cave-in, and a bunch of people died. One of the guys who survived was Harry Warden. That's the killer, Harry Warden, the legend of Harry Warden. And every time they put on a Halloween dance, similar to the Prowler, he would come back and start killing people. So at some point, they're like, we're done. We have to stop. No more Halloween dances. We can't do it. And then, of course, come the 80s, 1981, a new, fresh, young group of kids are like, screw that. Let's do it. We want to drink our Moosehead beer. That's a Canadian thing. I'll get into that. But yeah, they want to drink their Moosehead beer, and they want to party. So, like, the young people are like, don't worry about it. But the old people who remember were like, well, Harry Warden. They're like, oh, he's long dead. Don't worry about it. So, of course, they hold this dance, and the killings start again. So, the whole mystery is it Harry Warden? Is it someone else? What's going on? That's the setup. That's the story. And it's fantastic. I love it. Yeah, this is a really good one. This is a Canadian film, so if I haven't mentioned it before, I am Canadian, and I'm actually from the Maritimes. This was filmed in Nova Scotia, and I've lived in PEI, Nova Scotia, New Brunswick. I've lived in all three of the Atlantic provinces, not Newfoundland, four. So that's probably why I have this so high. It just the language, like the activities, the drinking, like I said, they like their Moosehead beer, and it's really familiar to me growing up in the Maritimes. And it just has that feel. So I'm probably a little biased, but this film is just so good. The characters are good, the acting is good. The kills, especially on this edition, because when this came out, it got butchered. The censors just butchered this all to hell. They finally found the deleted stuff and they put it back in, and it's great. The kills they're fantastic. There's really good kills in this. I prefer the original artwork, so I'll put that here. That's the original artwork, which is just fantastic. Yeah, look at that. Like the killer just stalking in this miner's outfit with the light and the pickaxe. It's just fantastic. And the scenes of them running. There's a scene in the mine as he's going through these like lights. And he's just like smashing each light as he's hunting them down, so it gets darker and darker. It's just there's so many things about this that is so good. It just has like a small town feel. Like I said, it's I think the name of the town is Valentine's Bluff, but it's like I think it's in Cape Breton, Nova Scotia, where it was filmed, and it just feels good to me. I just love this movie. So yeah, so that's it. Number one on this list, My Bloody Valentine. Um, yeah, so that's it, guys. That's the top 10. So hope you like that. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below. If you want to even a more in-depth review about any of these films talked about or any other 80s slasher, let me know. Put a comment below. If there's like maybe a lesser known film that you have in my collection, you see my collection video linked below. Whatever you want, let me know, and I'll make a video. I'll talk about it. Maybe I'll write a piece on the website if you'd rather that. Yeah. So that's it. So thanks everyone for watching. Again, subscribe, and if you're already subscribed, hit the little bell there for notifications. Hit some comments, like the video, all that stuff really helps. And yeah, until next time. All right, see yous.